Look at this, folks. This is clay soil. Used to be anyway. It is loose and pliable. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the worms in it. Put one worm there. One worm there. One worm here. Over here, got 2 worms. And think about it, folks. All I'm using in the ground is a what they call that thing. I'm using a manure fork and that little skinny little spade right there, and that's what I'm using. I don't like digging in my soil, so I do as little digging as possible. All kind of animals and everything living in the soil, especially the worms. I could go fishing right now with what I have here. Right there, I could go fishing. But these are for the garden, so we put those back up there and let them go where they gotta go. But this soil is so loose now since I started using the chop and drop. Then I got the watermelon put in. Sun's really starting to come up now. This hole right here is for the giant cantaloupe. It's the only seed I have. Let's see if it'll make it. Okay, folks, this is all the chop and drop. See all the brown up there? That's from a couple of days ago. Here's some down here, and I just dug this hole with this right here. That's what I dig the holes with. And it's interesting. Look at all the worms I find when I do this. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. In one little spot, I found 4 worms that were noticeably seen. And look what I do. I just lift the weeds away. Look at that. These are the weeds. I'm just lifting them away. There's some more worms. Lots of worms crawling all over the place. Now, what's causing this? Look at that. Little tiny ones. And look how it crumbles. Look how it crumbles, folks. Look. This is not clay anymore. But this was clay soil when I started out. And look at all the worms trying to crawl away and do their thing. Wood, folks, I am telling you, it's like cottage cheese. And I didn't have to pull no weeds to do it. All I had to do is lift the weeds away. See how I'm lifting them away? Using the, this here. See how the weeds come up? Once you loosen the soil, the weeds pop right out. So, that being said, this works. So all that gray mass, that is chop and drop. Chop and drop. Weeds. Weeds, folks. Grass clippings. Here's something I planted here. That's 2 seeds, which is summer squash. They'll be up in no time. Compost. Organic fertilizer. From the top down. Not from the bottom up, but from the top down. Well, we got our melons growing, and did a little chop and drop. You can see some of the remnants. Here we got another set of melons. They're doing quite well. That rain helped them out last night tremendously. Look at that. The soil is loose around them. They've been fertilized. They're growing. Beautiful, beautiful. Sugar babies here. This bag is full of worms. This is one of my favorite ones. Grapevine is called a Neptune. And this Neptune is a slow grower. And what I'm doing here with the Neptune is trying to get it to grow enough so I can get some cuttings this year, because it's only one plant. I refuse to lose it. That's the Neptune. It's almost 6 feet tall, and I really fed it well so it could really just branch out. I gave it like some good amount of nitrogen, kind of help it just go crazy. This is potatoes. And as you can see, they've quite outgrown their container. And this one here is another container I put together, and they were $1 for those potatoes, and they are growing quite well. Healthy plants. Got the beauty and thickness of the leaves. They're really strong because I feed them. Another container. Great health, you can see. I will have to mound them up in another 3 or 4 days. Look at this, they're coming all out of the container. We had some rain last night. All this is coming out of the container, and it is, what do we call it? Kale. Coming all out of the container. This is a group of 3 apple trees. You got the, one of these 2 in the back are Granny Smith, and the other one is a Fuji, and one is a, what they call these things here? One is a Pink Lady. Pink Lady is the only one produced this year. Pink Lady. So, and then these 2 over here are the ones that came from a really bad store. I was kind of really tired of dealing with them, so I stopped. But then they went out of business, so, you know. It rained last night. It's just a few, see, these trees are still very young. This one here is not as young, but you can see how thick the tree is. And it has 2 apples on it. I guess about 2 apples. I don't see any more. Pears. Pears. Got a few on them because this tree does not have another tree to cross with. You see 3 up there. And these are supposed to be Bartletts. And this one here is a delicious. It has not begun to fruit yet. It's about 2 years in the ground now. This one's about 4 or 5 years old. It had a cross with it over here, but I took it down because it was not doing well. We got one here. This is a, what are these, raspberries? And they came over here. They were over here in this corner with the other trees, and they came all the way over here, about 12 feet. They came over this area. I left them here because they weren't hurting anything. Let's see, this tree here was supposed to do well with some plums, but it got a few on it, and it dropped all the rest, so the tree is not really old enough to do what it wants to do. So nature has a way of thinning them on their own. There's another one here. Yep. And we got some cherries that are almost ready. Birds have got some of them. That's no big deal. And here we have some beautiful cherries. Very good looking cherries. This is off of my my Bing tree. Oh, beautiful color. Beautiful. Over here we got the grapevines going. They were almost taking over this area. I cut back a lot of how many clusters they would have, because I'd much rather have quality versus whole bunch of them. Look at the size of these clusters. And they've been cut back. There's about 7 or 8 on here, maybe a little bit more. Oh my goodness. I'm looking back here at my kiwi, and it's done gone crazy. I gotta cut this thing back. Look at it. It's this is growing. It's got pieces that are 7 feet long. I gotta get back here and trim this back. And it's back here in a shaded area, but it still has kiwis on it. So we'll get that taken care of. Look at this piece here. I'm stepping on pieces that should have been clipped back. Okay. This is a big mess of raspberries. Over here with a whole bunch of mosquitoes. You see them? And let's stand back a little bit. This is over. This is all raspberries, and they've been fed, and they're gonna be fed again to really get the good sized raspberries. Peaches. They've been thinned, and the bugs are having their due on them. But you can see these are some good looking peaches. Peaches. Growing all through this tree. I guess it made about 60, 70 peaches. And I want you to look at this. This is a dwarf tree. Well, it was sold as a dwarf tree. I'm gonna look up at this tree. This tree has got to be 20 feet tall. That's the roof line up there. Look at this. It's Hale Haven. We got peaches over here on this tree. This is another tree. Peaches hiding everywhere, behind leaves, branches. And the only one that did produce a lot, but did produce some, which I appreciate. This is the Georgia peach, and it has peaches in it. Let me see what's going on here. Let me see. Yeah, there's a peach there, Georgia peach, and there's some 2 there. Peaches. There's some others, but I don't want to fall into the tree.